God came down on Christmas Day, what would he think? What would he say? Would he notice all we've done? Or just about seldom one? I think I know what God would say if he came down on Christmas Day. He'd say to every boy and girl, where's the oil I gave to the world?
Just like any other boy, and he never had no troubles till he started up his oi band. Safe in the garage, singing in the tub. But Hardy went too far and he plugged in at the pub. It was a cold Christmas Eve when Trevor and the Skins popped in for a pint and then lick a bag of crisps. Trevor liked the music, but not the unity. He unwound Hardy's turban and he knocked him to his knees. The God came down on Christmas Day. I know exactly what he'd say. He'd say, I to the punks and I to the Skins, but I to the world and everybody wins. Hardy was a bloody mess, he ran out through the crowd. He said, we'll meet again, we are bloody yet unbowed. Trevor called his bluff and told him where to meet. Christmas Day on the roof down on 20 Oxford Street. If God came down on Christmas Day, I know exactly what he'd say. He'd say, I to the punks and I to the Skins, but I to the world and everybody wins. The guy on Indiana Jones. Police started wailing, a bloody dying man. Hardy was alone and abandoned by his band. Trevor was still fading and still so full of hate when the Skins left him there and went down the fire escape. Hardy saw the North Star shining more than ever, so he made a turn and catch from his turban, saving Trevor. They repelled on the roof with the rest of the turban and went back to the pub where they bought each other pumping. God came down on Christmas Day. I know exactly what he'd say. He'd say, I to the punks and I to the Skins, but I to the world and everybody wins. If God came down on Christmas Day, I know exactly what I to the world and everybody wins.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear,
it's Erik Nagel.
There we go.
Whoa.
We're on.
Wow. It's exciting.
It is.
Your enthusiasm is overwhelming.
No, I'm just making sure I have everything set here because we have no crew today.
Right.
It's just you and myself here.
We've done this without a crew before.
I know we have, but never so many things that needed to be done because other things weren't logged in anymore.
Right.
Or people closed out of things.
Sabotage, I say.
And having to find passwords and what have you. But whatever. It is Erik Nagel. That is me. Welcome to the program. 866-969-1969 is the phone number if you want to get in touch with us today. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Matt.
Hello.
Geek Stuff OG on the Twitter and Instagram.
That's correct.
And as if you needed mine, E-Rock Radio on Twitter and Instagram.
I think they know you by now.
On the program today, we're going to welcome back our friends from Neca Toys.
I'm excited to talk to them again.
Me too.
We had a lot of fun with them last time.
Yes, and they're going to be here talking about the holiday line.
Nice.
And some new products that they have out, and that's always fun. And maybe they got some stuff for us to give away.
Hey, that would be lovely.
I don't know. We'll see when they get here.
All right.
And also, speaking of giveaways, we have from our friends at Shout Factory, the brand new box set from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Nice.
I'm going to pull it out of my... I got a copy right here.
This is a holiday special, isn't it? Or it's I know I saw the photo of it the other day.
Yes, this is volume 31 for the Turkey Day collection of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Metal tin. So you know there's quality in
Oh,
this.
it's fancy. Oh, look, Shout Factory, you said, right? They do
Right.
a good job, Shout Factory.
There's a lot of movies on here, a lot of bonus features. It says over 8 hours of programming.
Oh.
So this is good. We'll have these to give away a little bit later in the program. And we got a lot of stuff to get to here, but also joining us today for a little bit is my friend Matt.
Hi, everybody.
Other
Hello.
Matt Ryan. You may know him as General Disarray on other programs. But Matt used to intern with us for the
I
Opie and
did.
Anthony show.
I was the fat, long-haired intern that was always angry and nobody really liked.
You were Angry Matt, and
Yes.
then you became Fat Matt.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around.
No, it's whatever Sam decided to call you that day.
it depended on the day.
Matt has always been a lovely person. He's always been nice to me.
Well, because I like you.
Oh, well, that's good.
When did you intern for us?
I started in late December of 2008, like right before Christmas break. Like the week before Christmas, I started, and I worked with you guys till about the end of 2009. Like
Okay,
the
so
entire
you were
year
there
from
for K-Rock, well,
Yep.
CBS, XM,
Yeah.
and then the move over to Sirius XM.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
that
a unique
happened when I
spot.
was there. Yeah, it happened the entire time I was there. Like when I started, we were still at K-Rock, and it was weird to make that transition every day. Then we weren't at CBS anymore, and we worked there, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're moving 10 blocks down.
Right, yeah, fun times. He was around for Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
I was,
quite a few, and we were on the Saturday Night Virus.
Indeed, yeah.
Back in the day.
That's where the General Disarray term comes from.
That is where General Disarray comes
But
from. yes.
Matt's one of the few interns that either we keep in touch with or have kept in touch with us, but actually kept pursuing the dream of working in broadcasting.
Yes, my spirit hasn't been broken yet.
We tried,
still
and
time.
it just didn't work.
You were that close, though. You were that close. The dangling carrot of a job here kept me going for a while.
Right. Where are you working right? Can you talk about it?
I'm a freelance radio engineer. I'm a freelance announcer.
It means he's part-time.
Yes, I get paid a decent amount of money to work at various places. I work for one specific place right now. It's in the number one market.
Well,
So
all right. I don't want to say the name of
Yeah.
the company, but Bloomberg Radio.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're working over there, and that's a lot of fun. That's a big industry.
It is, yeah. We get to work. I get to work in 3 different markets. I've been working in the New York and Boston markets primarily, but I've done some stuff for the San Francisco station. I've been able to associate produce a lot of Rangers and Knicks games,
Right.
and some other cool stuff. It's been fun. I've been there about 3 years now, and it's been an invaluable experience.
Well, that's great, man.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
so
you.
happy for you. But you're also doing another gig on the side. Look, Matt was also one of the few kids that we knew that enjoyed wrestling. And you're actually working somewhat in that industry.
I've been pretty much around the time I left working. I was kicked out of here. I was asked to leave nicely.
Politely.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
security was involved?
Not that time.
All right,
no.
all right.
But after I left here, I was doing my own radio show at the time and my own podcast.
Okay.
And it evolved into me doing wrestling announcing. And from there, I got to work with various companies, ISW here in America and in Canada. I've done some work for various independent promotions throughout the United States. And over the past year or so, I've actually been able to be a producer and
Nice.
help put on shows. And I'm also a manager now. I get to turn the hateable quality that was bred here, the thing that thousands of people on YouTube do not like me. There are videos of me from when I was here,
Right.
where they just don't like me. They think I'm a depressed mess. I was a depressed mess at the time. Just as big.
Now you're just a mess.
Yes, just a mess.
So there you
And I've been able to turn that into a character that people pay to see get hit with things.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
and I've been able to. I just came back last week from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yeah, that's a 14-hour drive.
So you're in the wrestling business.
Yes, I'm in the wrestling
Moving
business.
this on a little
Yeah,
bit. here.
I'm sorry.
So you're in the wrestling business. You got an actual event that's coming up.
Yeah.
I have the plug. No.
It's good to be prepared.
It
huh?
is.
had it. Or where? Maybe it's
The
this
Next
page
Step
here.
live event will be released.
There it is.
That January 17th. Is that
Yeah.
what you were going to talk about?
That's it.
In the Bronx?
January 17th, 2015, if in case you didn't know. In the Bronx with the organization 2KW Pro.
Yeah.
How are they to work for?
Oh, they're great. I'm actually a partner in the company. I act as the media relations guy, and I do things like this. I get people on radio shows, on podcasts, and I also get to be a character. I help direct and edit the shows.
Right. So you're not just there like offering your services.
No.
You're actually working and,
Yeah.
and learning the business and how to put all this stuff together and produce a show and digital packages, all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's great.
I help produce vignettes. I write vignettes. I develop characters. I get to work with the talent directly. It's the best. Next to working here is the best learning experience I've ever had.
That's great,
what I want to
man.
do.
Good for you.
Thank you.
The website is 2kwpro.com for
Yes.
tickets and information. Check out Matt. And what's your character? You're on screen, right?
Yeah, Matthew Ryan Shapiro, the Esquire of Excellence.
So you're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. I'm
slash manager.
Yes.
Do you run a stable?
Actually, yes,
You
I
do?
do. It's
I
called
knew
The
where
Firm.
this was going.
It's called The Firm.
You're like Harvey Whippleman and Paul Heyman together.
I would say a little less Harvey Whippleman, a little more Gary Hart, but yeah, Paul Heyman's a pretty good apt description.
Well, good for you, man.
Thank
it's good.
you, buddy.
You're going to hang out here for a little while,
yeah,
right?
I'll be here.
Okay, cool. Matt Ryan, thank you so much for stopping by. I haven't seen you in a while. You have to come back again
Say the
somewhere
word.
down in the new year.
I will.
Speaking of the new year, Matt,
Yes.
or maybe not speaking of the new year, so much that we have a special announcement that'll be coming soon.
We do.
Involving this program.
Indeed.
Details are still being finalized, but 2015 could be a really good year for this program.
Do we think it's early 2015, or are we thinking like they
Yeah, I
say
think it's-
2015, but we mean like summertime?
This isn't like DC movies.
Okay.
This is actually going to happen in the beginning of 2015.
Fantastic.
Maybe around January. As soon as I get the word, we can definitely spread that word out.
Of course.
But it's looking good. And
Excellent.
it's something that I've really wanted for this show, and I couldn't be happier
All
about
right.
it. So big things to come. Look out for that announcement as well. A couple other things. I want to congratulate some other people. A friend of mine in radio named Skywalker in other markets, but he's going. I guess he's going by the name Sky here in New York. Just got a job at 92.3 amp here at CBS
Is
in
his
New
name
York City.
actually Skywalker?
No, it's his on-air
Okay.
name, but he's been using it for like 20 years.
Because the way you said it, I thought maybe for a moment it was legit, and I was like, that can't be.
No.
All right.
This is Skywalker, and it's the one with one Y, not the one with two Ys that used to work here at this company.
All right.
It's a good guy. So Skywalker, good friend of mine. He's in various other stations, but he's coming to New York. His first gig in New York City, and I worked with him out on Long Island at WBLI, and I think maybe he was at LAR. I'm not 100% sure, but he's a good dude, so I just wanted to throw a shout out to him. What else has been going on? I went to go see The Grinch That Stole Christmas
On
at the
Broadway.
theater at Madison Square Garden.
That's not considered Broadway. That's just considered. I don't know. What
I don't
that's
know if they
considered.
technically consider it Broadway,
All right.
but it qualifies for
Sure.
all the Tonys and everything else that
Right,
comes
right.
up.
Okay.
The reason why I went to it was I took my niece as her Christmas present. She wanted to go see a live show. She's
Right.
4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hasn't seen anything like that, and she wanted to go see something on Broadway. And a lot of the stuff that's on Broadway right now is not really appropriate for her age, or she doesn't have the mindset to sit through the entire
I was going to
thing.
say, I don't know that there's almost anything on Broadway. The closest thing that I could think, and it's closed now, would have been Mary Poppins, but I think 4 would have even
Right.
been a little.
So this is all
Turn
I
for
could
that.
see for the holiday season because I really didn't want to go see the Christmas Spectacular Radio
Right.
City. I saw it
not
so
a
many years
bad
ago.
show.
It's not
It's
a
all
bad
right.
show, but it doesn't change. So if you go, oh yes, this is exactly how I
If
remember
you've seen
it.
one Rockette, you've seen them all.
Right. So I took her to see that. It was actually a good show.
Nice.
It was kind of a cross between the Dr. Seuss books and the Jim Carrey version.
Okay.
The rest of the story and the scenery and everything was the Dr. Seuss version. But the Grinch was the Jim Carrey version. There were some crude jokes that the kids didn't get, but it was there for the parents, burping and farting and all this stuff.
Lovely.
So if you got a kid and you're going to be in the New York area and you're looking for something to do with them, I would recommend go seeing this show.
All right.
So there is that. Some big news in television and movies. Where do you want to go with this?
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot. I mean, the biggest thing probably since we've done a show live was the Star Wars trailer,
Right.
Or teaser. I know you don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but it was. I thought it was awesome.
I
I'm
thought it was
excited
great
for
too.
it.
Why there were so many people as soon as it came out were bitching on the internet because it's the internet and they'll bitch. But why were they bitching about it? One, because it was a black stormtrooper.
There was like 4 or 5 different things. Black Stormtrooper was one of them. The new saber design was another one of them. Another thing, and I'm trying to think what else. There was a third one too that I read. Oh, the ball droid was the third one. Thank you.
Why is that supposed to be the new like Jar Jar Binks or something like
No,
that?
we don't know from the teaser trailer.
No,
what
was
it's
that what people
supposed to be.
complaining about? Like, oh, there's another cutesy thing they threw into Star Wars.
Yeah, but can you tell that it's a cutesy thing just based on that teaser? I don't know that you could tell it. Plus, not to mention for all those people that are too stupid to realize, I mean, it's kind of loosely based on Ralph McQuarrie's early designs for R2.
Right.
Which people love Ralph McQuarrie's concept design. So I think people just want to hate, and so it's just let's find a couple things to complain about, and here they are.
Right.
I mean, it was an 88-second teaser with 39 seconds of actual footage. You can't really tell much from it. I loved it. I'm down. But
I liked it too, and I know another big point of contention was what we appear to think would be a Sith, walking through the woods there, and the new lightsaber has has the flames coming out the side. You said something that's like it won't cut off his hand if he gets hit, right?
Well,
other people are saying you're going to cut off your hand holding that thing.
No, come on.
Who cares? You got something new. This is the big problem. Aren't you glad that there's more Star Wars being made, and it's being made in a good way rather than not having anything at all?
So you're gonna question the logistics behind that particular lightsaber design, but you're okay with everything else that happens in the science fiction universe that they've created. You're okay with the concept of the Force and spaceships and everything else, but the cross guard on that particular saber is going to ruin the entire movie going experience for you. Well, if that's the case, then
it all comes down to
no, but you're going to go see it. So shut up.
It all comes down to one, people will complain about anything no matter how good it is just because it's new, and two, because there's a black stormtrooper. And it doesn't mean anything.
First of all, I don't necessarily think he's actually a stormtrooper. That's my
I thought you were going to say
opinion.
you don't think he was actually black. And I was going to say that is wrong.
I don't think he's a stormtrooper. My thought is that he's probably just in stormtrooper armor. And
in the way he looks in there, it looks like
aren't around at that point, or they're not around at least in mass. The Empire is probably recruiting.
Right. And the way he looks on the desert there, it looks like he's confused or he's terrified, like he's abandoning what's going on.
Sure. Maybe he just saw a crate dragon.
Right.
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Nope.
That's
I'm just going with it. I did see the graveyard of the pod racers in the background of the little R2 unit riding past there, which was kind of funny, saying, fuck the first 3 films.
But why would you even say fuck the... anyway, I thought it was great.
I like 2 and 3.
Forward to it. I even liked
know a lot of people don't. I like 2 and 3.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, I'm getting some head shaking here, so let's bring them in right now. Our friends from Neca Toys, Chris and Randy here. You're shaking your head as to which part of Star Wars here. Let me make sure I got you on. There you go. You're on.
All right.
Don't be too nervous.
He's done this before.
He has.
Yeah, a couple times. Those first 3, those don't count.
They don't count?
They don't count.
No, I pretend those didn't happen.
I like 3. I actually rank 3 a little bit better than 6.
It's the least worst of them.
Yes, I will agree with that. It is the least worst.
Yeah.
You don't like the origin story of Darth Vader?
Not that he's a little boy.
No, not that part. I'm saying as far as the 3rd episode, where you see him change over into the robot.
No, and we had the same conversation you guys just had on the drive in here. We had nothing better to do in 2 hours of traffic. But no. I feel like everything could have been done in a more effective way. Like the way she died with she's lost the will to live. Stupid.
You know what it is? It's the Titanic ending. You just dropped him, you're holding on to him. You could have pulled him up on the floating door and you just let him go because that's love.
Right. And I'm in my 40s, so I grew up with this vision in my head from what was said in the good 3 films, 4, 5, and 6, of Darth Vader hunting down and murdering the Jedis. And then instead, we get someone saying, execute this order, and then all these terrible CG clones just turn their weapons on the Jedis and destroy them like that, and Vader has nothing to do with it. There is no hunt, there is no betrayal. Just everything in those 3 movies is garbage. I pretend they never happened.
Fair enough. What about going forward?
I'm optimistic. I don't know why everyone's bitching, but like you said, people just want to bitch.
Yeah, it's
the internet full of hate and venom for no good reason.
I also think, too, that they were upset because outside of seeing, this is getting really geeky, the Millennium Falcon, which anybody that I know that even remotely has an interest in Star Wars was cheering when they saw that, or like, oh my God, this is cool. They didn't see any major character, and I think that's also a huge. I am too. But
for that teaser,
the rest of the public and even the more mainstream people or younger kids that are sort of new to Star Wars, maybe through the Clone Wars cartoon or something like that, you're not seeing Darth Vader. You're not seeing Han Solo.
I hope you don't see Darth Vader.
No,
No,
He hasn't ruled it out, by the way.
I know. That's
James
why I'm
Earl
saying
Jones
it
has
doesn't-
not
I
ruled
hope,
out that he's
but-
not in some way involved with Episode 7, The Force of a New Generation.
Look, for a teaser, I don't think that you should have seen any of the old cast. I think it should focus on the story moving forward. I think it needs to highlight some of the big things that you could see. Now, when the full trailer comes out before Avengers next year, if you don't see at least Luke or Han, all right, I can understand if you want to complain. But for the teaser, you did not need to see them. You needed to see the new stuff. You needed to see the stuff that, in theory, should get you excited for it, whether or not you hate it. So I'm totally fine with all that stuff. Again, I just think people need to pick it apart. I knew it was going to happen. Anybody that didn't think that it was going to cause ire and arguments is just they're under a rock, you know.
The one thing that I think speaks volumes is someone cut together a George Lucas version of the teaser trailer a couple days later.
We watched that on Opie and Jimmy, and just to show the ridiculousness of what George Lucas did with those remastered versions.
But whoever did that, that's the argument ender right there. Anyone who's bitching and complaining, watch that trailer. That's your alternative.
There's
you want
full
Lucas
Jabba the
making
Hutt
more
just in the
crap,
desert for no reason
Give
with
Abrams
nothing
a
around him.
chance,
Yeah.
'cause
Ghost Anakin.
Right,
for
that
no
kills
reason.
it. That ends the argument.
And then when you do see the Millennium Falcon, instead of the 2 fighters there's like 9,000 of them, and he's going through a swarm with no damage.
Yep.
So anyway, Star Wars
was big.
December
2015.
They didn't give the exact date yet, right?
I think it's the 18th.
Is it
I've
the
been
18th?
counting for it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Star
sounds
Wars is
about right.
coming. More Star Wars. If you're a big Star Wars fan, be happy that you got some new stuff coming out, and it seems to be in good hands.
And I got to say, I like Rebels too. I'm really enjoying Rebels. So, as far as I'm concerned, Star Wars is in okay hands right now. They're going forward. So far, I'm comfortable with the choices they've made, Disney. So,
There we go. So Star Wars is over. I want to make a quick mention about Constantine on NBC.
Of course, I'm enjoying it.
If anybody is watching this show or not, I've really grown to love this show. I don't know why it's... We said before when it was first starting and we got to talk to them at Comic-Con, people, after seeing it in San Diego Comic-Con, were kind of panning it. At least the people who saw whatever footage they showed there. And I don't know why they were panning it. I saw the first episode in advance, and I believe you did as well. Yep. It's really good, and it's only gotten better since then.
I agree.
So on Friday nights, 10 p.m. on NBC. If you're looking for something during the holiday season and when you're off to start binge watching, just go on demand, or Hulu, I think, has it as well. Yeah. Watch all of Constantine. It's a great show, but they cut the season in half.
Yeah, they didn't get the order for the second half of season 1. They haven't canceled the show and ruled out a season 2 yet, but they didn't pick up the back 9 episodes. But I think the show has been great. I think, again, there's people that just want to complain that he's not smoking, or they're not showing him smoke, but he is smoking. But I think Matt Ryan's portrayal of the character has been really good. I think the stuff that they're doing on NBC is really good. It's certainly not the worst comic book related TV show on TV right now. That would be Gotham. Constantine.
You really do not like that.
I hate Gotham with a passion.
Where are you guys with Gotham?
I've never seen it.
Not watch it?
I started watching the first one and turned it off.
It's terrible. Good for you. I for some reason, am a glutton for punishment, so I've been sticking
I've still
through
been watching it too. It's now becoming the Penguin show.
Well, but it's a shame because I think he's doing a great job, but everybody else is horrendous on that show.
You don't
I'm watching
like
it
Jada
just,
Pinkett Smith?
No, she's awful.
You
And
think
that
she's
character is
overacting?
awful. She is overacting. She's doing her.
She's doing Eartha Kitt Catwoman.
She's doing her best Eartha Kitt impression.
And then the girl that they have portraying, what's Catwoman's name in the show?
Selena Kyle. I don't know the little girl's
Looks
name,
like
but-
Michelle Pfeiffer, and like you said early on, and now I'm noticing it.
Yeah.
They always have, when they cut to her, she's always posing like a cat.
She's always perched up on something, or she's always got a big jug of fucking milk. We get it.
It's like, all
We
right,
get it.
enough
You're Catwoman.
foreshadowing. We know where she's going.
We don't need it shoved down our face.
But anyway, watch Constantine on NBC.
Let's go to Suicide Squad.
It's one of
though.
the good DC shows that they're putting on on television, along with Flash and Green Arrow did a crossover, and you
Flash
said it was
and
really
Arrow,
good.
I think, have been hitting it out of the park. I've been on board with Arrow since season 1. I think it's gotten progressively better. The crossover that just took place this last week was, I think it was executed perfectly. I really wasn't sure how I was going to handle Flash, but I think they're doing a good job. And I'm okay with it. I'm excited to see where both of those shows going. I want to see the new Black Canary, which we'll see in the second half of the season. I want to see Reverse Flash, which we'll see next week on Flash. So I'm okay with that. And you know, Arrow and Flash in their universe have a really good version of the Suicide Squad, as opposed to this nonsense that Warner Brothers has just put together for their film universe,
right?
With Will Smith as Deadshot for some unknown reason. I want to say regarding Jared Leto.
Now you're saying that why? Was Deadshot a white guy?
Actually, I'm going to take the race out of it. He was, but I'm going to take the race out of it. I just don't think Will Smith is great. I think they were looking for a big name, and he was available.
Okay.
And they brought him in. Jared Leto is a really big name, and I want to say I have no problem with him playing the Joker. I actually think that he could play the Joker very well. I question why he's in a Suicide Squad movie, but I have no problem with him. I actually like Jared Leto. I think he can certainly look the part. I think he can act the part. Tom Hardy, I'm okay with. Margot Robbie, I think looks great as Harley Quinn. I just don't need this version of the Suicide Squad when I already have a version that I really like on TV.
And it's even worse than not knowing Guardians of the Galaxy, because at least you knew of one of the characters maybe from Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is their attempt at a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie. Like, let's put together this ragtag group of supervillains that kind of have to be good, but not really, because they're forced into it. No one has to know them except for like one dude, and it'll be a huge hit like Marvel did it, except we're not going to do any of the build-up or legwork that Marvel did in order to put this out. We're just going to hope that you accept it and care about a bunch of characters in a universe that nobody knows anything about except for a shitty Superman movie.
Well, let's go to some of the experts here who I'm guessing by nodding their heads are not getting the license for this. Randy and Chris from Neca Toys here are in the studio. So you feel the same way as far as the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it sums it up pretty well. I mean,
DC's always behind.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Everybody's like, oh, Marvel did that. Let's do that a few years later.
Then why didn't they do that with their movie?
We do plenty of business with both studios, so it's tough to really speak freely.
I'll speak freely.
But Marvel has someone at the helm who's masterminded this stuff from day one, and it's Kevin Feige, or Feige, I think is how you pronounce it. He had a plan and architecture for Phase 1 and Phase 2, and they planted all those seeds in all those movies, and it was smart, and some movies are better than others, but the overall plan of how they did everything and arrived at Avengers and then had the sequels, which were all more successful, made something like Guardians, which no one knows what Guardians is. A lot of comic fans aren't Guardians people, and it still was a phenomenal hit.
But I think they did it the right way, too, by putting it out in a way where like every level of a family went and enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, where, you know, some adults like us would go and see the Avengers and be like, oh, this is awesome, stuff's blowing up in New York and all this stuff, and it's cool. And then you get some of the kids who would go watch it just because stuff's blowing up and not really caring about the storyline. They just want to see the Hulk and what have you. But Guardians of the Galaxy, like, I saw women going to this thing that normally would not go to an action superhero movie unless their boyfriend or husband was dragging them into it. Because, look, I went to go see Gone Girl. You're going to come see Iron Man 4 or whatever. And they just, whatever they did, hit it out of the park as far as they got every demo for this thing. And I do agree that Suicide Squad is playing catch up to DC as far as, oh, let's get a group that nobody really knows about, but, well, you know Harley Quinn, but you don't really know the other ones there, and this will just do the same kind of magic and for their toy line and their revenue that Marvel did.
Yeah, I mean, DC's been behind the whole Batman, the Nolan Batman stuff's the only thing that's been successful. Go back a few years and look how dismal Green Lantern was.
Oh, right, and Superman wasn't the greatest.
Superman twice has not lived up to their expectations. That's why we now throw Batman in with Superman. They're always
he's the crutch.
They're always a few steps behind. And they don't have a guy like Kevin who really is the one behind all the Marvel stuff. Sure, they've picked the right directors, they've picked great actors. You know, Nolan and the Batman trilogy was the only success DC had going, and then that's over.
And it's a shame, too, where Matt and I were talking before the show about the original Iron Man being, it's technically an independent movie because Marvel put it out by themselves, had to get all the financing, and it became, you know, the cornerstone, the foundation of the new wave of the Marvel Empire here. Disney got them, and now they have Disney's endless bank book to make all the stuff that we all want to see, and everybody who's working on these things, like, I would love to do this one day. Well, here you go, cut a check, and it's done. DC had that with Warner Brothers and did nothing.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And Iron Man, it seems weird now, but it was a huge gamble. I mean, he's a B-list character. He's not Batman, Superman, or Spider-Man, and he's an alcoholic. So it's like, how's this going to play to
And he's the guy
Middle
they
America?
built this empire on now.
Right, absolutely.
And DC was trying to do it sort of with Batman, but those stand alone. Those three with Christopher Nolan. Then they tried doing it again with Superman, and they can't. Their main franchise, and they can't get anything going with it.
Yep.
I actually like the new Superman that came out only because they didn't make him so prissy and protecting everybody. Not everybody was safe. People were dying left and right, and he was destroying stuff. So I like that they went in that in that direction, but it went too long, and the girl who played Lois Lane was just too annoying. Amy Adams.
The problem I have with that, though, and I know you don't want to spend a ton of time on this, you want to move on, but the problem I have with that Superman movie was Superman doesn't need to be dark. Superman needs to be a little bit lighter. It needs to be more positive. It's supposed to be the opposite of Gotham. It's supposed to be the opposite of Batman. It's not supposed to be gritty. And this Warner Brothers directive to nothing can be really funny and everything has to be kind of dark and gritty. This shadow that they're casting on their universe, it's too dark, and it's not family friendly, and they're not going to hit that demo. They're not going to get that money that Marvel can get, and I think it's sloppy. I think it's lazy, and I think they're misstepping, and they're trying too hard to catch up to Marvel rather than taking the time to develop it. They don't need to put out the number of movies as quickly as they're putting them out. I would much rather them see they take the time to develop the properties properly. Because I like DC books, don't get me wrong. I would much rather them develop them properly than rush them to try to play catch up with Marvel.
They're way too dark. Look at Winter Soldier was not a like super happy action comic movie. It was dark, but it didn't feel like dismal like most of the recent DC movies.
Yeah, DC always kind of gives you that depressing, hopeless feel.
Right.
That they try to disguise as though and say, no, we're hopeless, but then through the darkness, a superhero emerges. But you don't, unless it's Batman. And they still don't realize that Batman is their top guy. They keep thinking Superman's going to be, their number one seed for everything. Unless it's Batman, no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's why they put him in. It was supposed to be a Man of Steel sequel, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, throw Batman in there." People love Batman.
Because people love Batman.
And then it becomes like Dawn of Justice and all this other stuff.
And every character under the sun is in Dawn of Justice. I think is another
well, you
problem.
guys mentioned briefly Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
Here's another perfect example of the bigger problem is then Warner announces a Flash, and it's not even the guy who plays Flash.
See, this is another thing that's puzzling, where Marvel figured out the formula, and their movies are doing great. They do some TV stuff, which can tie into the movie universe when they need to.
Absolutely.
But it also stands on its own, and it's not getting the recognition on television as it does the movies. Now, DC's doing the opposite thing, sort of, where the movies are a mess, but their TV shows are doing well. But their TV shows don't tie into the movies. Like, if you did if you did a Green Arrow movie, they would want to see the guy playing Green Arrow off the television.
100%.
When they do the Flash, like you just said, they want to see the guy from Flash. If they did Constantine again, if you saw the Keanu Reeves one, it wasn't bad, but it was just whatever.
If Guillermo del Toro does Justice League Dark and Constantine is still not on TV, he should get Matt Ryan to play Constantine, because I would love to see it.
Right. I think this guy, I think Matt Ryan's playing a great Constantine here. If they did some in the movies, he needs to be tied into that. And they're not thinking that. Their TV formula is working, but there's no longevity in it where they can, like, hey, we need to bring him into the movie for something.
Right. Yeah. And how do you instill faith or confidence in your actor when you're building a TV series around him, and then you announce, okay, we're going to do the movie, but no, we want someone else to play him in the movie.
Right.
That's ridiculous and undermines the job he's doing when you're trying to launch a network show.
Right. And by the time the Flash makes his appearance on TV, or in the films rather, you're going to have 2.5 seasons, I think, of the TV show, assuming it's as successful as it is now. The audience is, I don't know that they're going to have an appetite.
Yeah, it was cool. The actor who plays Green Arrow spoke out against the studio about it and said, like,
what are you doing?
And he's absolutely right.
He is absolutely right. And I think he's doing a great job as Arrow. I've said it again. I said it since season 1. I think he's doing a great job. So I'm down with it. I actually don't want him to appear in those movies at this point, because I don't want them to ruin what they have going
Matt,
on
you're
the
being
TV
selfish.
shows. I know, I am. I'm terrible.
I want to move over to Sony real quick here.
Okay.
A lot of stuff happened to Sony in the past week where they got hacked.
Sony's in trouble.
Sony is the way this is looking, it's kind of fucked, because if you don't know anything about Sony Entertainment doesn't really make much money for the Sony Corporation. Neither does their electronics. Their top billing product is insurance over in Europe and Asia.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so they've been fighting to keep these rights away from Marvel, by holding on to Spider-Man and some other projects. And now their stuff got hacked, which now they believe might have been some group from North Korea, which I'm still calling bullshit on that, because it's tying into the Interview movie that's coming out with Seth Rogen and James Franco, which, if you're not familiar with that movie, is about, it's about these two hosts of a shocky show or whatever get recruited by the CIA to go do an interview over in North Korea and try to kill the leader of North Korea. Right. So North Korea is now maybe claiming credit for this, or the FBI saying that it's a group from North Korea. But the material they leaked out were 5 movies from Sony, one of them being the new World War II movie with Brad Pitt called Fury.
Right.
The other, The Interview, which they're threatening all kinds of shit if we release it here in the United States, and no one's going to believe that. But also...
there's a lot of personal information, though, for celebrities and stuff, right?
I was going to say that after Black Annie, because I wanted to throw Black Annie out there.
Right.
So Blanny got leaked to the torrents. But yeah, personal information got leaked out as far as, one, salaries of people who work on these movies, and you could see the salaries were not quite equal to what other stars were making.
Right.
Like Seth Rogen and James Franco, top billing in the movie, weren't making the same salary. Then executive salaries were coming out, and then Sony kept putting out press release that they were trying to... they had cost-cutting measures. They were trying to save some money and refinance and everything. But then you saw all the money they were spending for personal drivers to get the stars to and from the movie set. There was something about a $200 expense or $400 expense for a table that had coke and weed and some girl's panties on there. So yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff.
Is what you're saying.
But then also Social Security information and personal financial information was given out as far as credit cards. The CEO of the company had their credit card information given out. Sylvester Stallone was pissed because his Social Security information went out. Judd Apatow, Rebel Wilson,
now, right? So
yeah, I'm sure he is. Because, those expendable movies weren't making much after one. So, yeah, all this stuff is going on with Sony. They're going to have so many lawsuits on their hand because of them being hacked. I can't imagine these celebrities still wanting to work with Sony anymore. So does this put Sony in the position where they're going to have to sell off Spider-Man to Marvel?
Hopefully.
That'd be nice.
I couldn't stand the hipster skateboarding cool guy Spider-Man.
No.
I hated it.
I actually thought James Garfield did a pretty good job as Peter Parker, but I think everything else was kind of...
I mean, the first one was... it was all right, but the second one, it just got so shitty.
Sell it back to Disney. Let them handle it. Let them put Spider-Man in Civil War and everybody will be happy.
That's the rumors, is that they're trying to at least get them for, crossover like that, but
I'd love to see it. And I'm a Spidey guy too. I'm a Spidey fan, but those movies have been atrocious.
So Sony's going to be fucked, and hopefully they can sell their stuff back to Marvel, and everybody will be happy. And then all it takes now is to get Fox on board to get rid of X-Men and let Marvel pick
That'll
up.
Never
and then
happen.
it won't
Fox
happen.
is doing too well with the X-Men movies, and I'm okay with it. They're doing fine.
They just announced
they confirmed Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool.
As an X-Men spinoff. But I love, there was a quote in Variety that said, Fox announced several months ago that it had slotted Deadpool for a February 2016 release. Reynolds, who portrayed the character in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine, has been expected to star for many years, is now confirmed. Now, I asked you this a while ago, that character was supposed to be Deadpool, but a lot of people said it's not.
It was not.
So... But why are all the trades saying that it was Deadpool?
Because in the beginning of the movie, it definitely was Slade. It definitely was Deadpool.
Right.
But at the end of the movie, that was not Deadpool. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to say that they actually called it Weapon 13, which was like this weird amalgam of all these other members of the Weapon X project. And Deadpool himself was actually another part of the Weapon X project. I think it's been a while since I've read Deadpool, so I think what they're going to say is that character at the end of X-Men Origin Wolverines was not actually Deadpool.
Okay,
Slade is still around. Slade, right? Is that Deadpool's
the general?
I think so.
Yeah,
Wade Wilson, isn't it?
Wade. Sorry,
Wade Wilson.
I'm thinking Deathstroke is Slade. Yeah. Wade is still around as Deadpool. That's what I think.
Okay. What, you guys aren't doing anything with Deadpool, right? As far as licensing goes,
not at the present time.
No. Okay. What was the big explosion with everyone loving Deadpool now? Like in the last year or so, there's more Deadpool stuff out.
Oh God, it's longer than that.
No, that I've in the stores. I'm seeing everything Deadpool now.
It's become a big internet thing.
Yeah.
Like once they started,
because Toys R Us now has a lot of Deadpool stuff, and you never saw this stuff on the shelves about a year ago.
Deadpool is almost like. He's almost like Wolverine status in Marvel books in that he's in every book. He's got a billion different minis, Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe, Deadpool versus Wolverine. There was like a bunch of different Deadpools at one point in time. There was like a gorilla and a dog and all sorts of crazy shit.
Deadpool corpse.
Yeah. He's this kind of this weird comedic character. He breaks the fourth wall a lot. He's been a really popular character since he's been around.
Right, but what's the big explosion as far as merchandising now? Why? Because now this has just been confirmed that Ryan Reynolds is in it. Not too long ago, they confirmed the movie. Not too long ago, it was confirmed the movie was going to happen. But before that, there was all this stuff. There's a Deadpool Mr. Potato Head. You know, like everything has Deadpool on it now. So I just didn't know where the sudden explosion of as far as commercial interest came.
The video game that came out a year or two ago is really well received. I think that probably helped a little bit. I don't know. I think he's been kind of lurking in the back, or maybe you just haven't noticed it until recently.
I think that's what it is. I knew of the character. Yeah. I didn't know all the details. But in the past year, I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Let's go to Andy in Floral Park here. He wants to talk about Deadpool. Andy.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm not too bad, dude. I'm pretty high. But anyway, so the Deadpool movie where like they said he was Weapon 13, they can still have that in continuity because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, so he can mention in his own movie, hey, remember that shitty Wolverine movie I was in?
Yeah, they could. I think that it's going to end up not being Deadpool, but they'll figure out a way around it. I have faith that they'll figure out a way around it.
They don't make him break the fourth wall.
Didn't they cut his head off at the end of that movie?
They did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, but that's why I don't think it was actually him.
And his mouth was sewed up.
Yeah. How does Deadpool not talk?
Right. Yeah. That's his thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Andy, since
suck.
No, don't go anywhere. Since you're high and he hung up. Fuck it. I was going to give him a prize, but never mind. Screw him.
Screw him.
All right. So that's it for Sony and what have you here. I think we've covered a lot of movie stuff.
I think so. I think we should move over to our guests. We should move over.
Yes. Right? I want to go to Neca Toys, NecaToys.com, right? Or is it NecaToysOnline.com? NecaOnline.com. We're talking to the guys that makes everything happen here, Randy and Chris, and they're going to tell us about their new releases and their holiday stuff that's going on. I do have to point out, I've seen a lot more NECA stuff showing up in certain toy stores and whatever. The full-size Jason mask that's out now is awesome to look at, and it terrifies kids because it's on eye level for little kids. So it's always sitting on the shelf. It's never on a peg. So when kids walk by, they see all this stuff, and then there's that mask there, and you can just see them freak out looking at it. It's an awesome piece of work.
Thanks.
I saw last time I was over checking out NECA, you guys were working on are they night variations where they're purple and blue?
Oh, the Jason?
Yeah, the Jason one.
That's something that started about a year and a half ago. Just sort of random. We came up with an exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con 2013. That was Jason from the old 8-bit video game, the LJN video game that was on the Nintendo in 89.
All your friends are dead.
Exactly.
Yep.
So in that game, just because
that's the ending. There is no, you can't beat the game. That's your end screen right there.
Yeah, you and your friends are dead.
It's like a DC movie. It's a big downer at the end.
He was like a purple and then had light blue mask that kind of glowed and light blue hands and stuff. So we did that figure, and it was probably the biggest exclusive that year and one of our biggest exclusives of all time. So now we're doing the mask that way, and we've done another like doll version of the figure that way because people can't get enough of these 8-bit homages that we started.
Yeah. Well, I've been calling it the night version because it looks like when you see the character at night in these older things, it's always blue and purple to simulate moonlight or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there was a couple other things that you did that variant for. I saw the Predator. Looks awesome. You have the Predator figure out there. You also had the 1989 Batman, which I see on the shelves, and then I don't see on the shelves because if I go back to look at it again, they're usually gone.
I have one here. You can keep it or give it away tonight if you feel
Can we take a look at it? Yeah. Have you seen this, Matt?
I don't know that I've seen the color version that you're talking about. I saw
it's awesome, and the detail is amazing because the jawline looks like Michael Keaton.
Yep.
If you don't know what we're talking about, 1989 was pretty much the
real Batman.
The resurgence of the Batman franchise. Everybody's Batman pretty much. But as I told Matt that weekend, that Friday, I went to see UHF instead. And everybody went to see Batman. So I had to go on Saturday to go see Batman because I didn't want to go to school and be the only kid that didn't see Batman.
But you were the only kid that went to the theater to see UHF.
I went to UHF, yes, that Friday night.
Wanted to make sure.
Wow, that is great. That's a great looking figure.
It's a great box.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
And you designed the box?
All you.
Good for you, Chris.
That's one of my favorite things.
That's awesome.
Doing those. Is trying to make it look as close to the video game as we can.
So this series that's here, these box figures, what is it called?
They're kind of like 8-bit or 16-bit homages. So the idea of the box is that it looks like the cartridge packaging that you bought in the late 80s for your Nintendo.
It does. I love the NECA seal that looks like the Nintendo quality seal that they used to put on the games.
Yep.
It's all about details.
I've seen this. I've seen Predator. I've also seen in the same display the Freddy Krueger with multiple faces, but he's not that variant. He's just regular Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, we did a video game Freddy as well, but that the Freddy you're talking about we did this year for the 30th anniversary of the original Elm Street. So it has a bunch of different heads and the tongue phone and a whole bunch of.
What did you think of the remake that they made? I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh,
you didn't like it?
Yeah,
Wait, they remade
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, a few years ago with Jackie Earl Haley.
I thought they kept it pretty dark.
No,
it wasn't as campy as Freddy became.
About it. That's how good it was.
I agree that Freddy became real campy, but of all those remakes, like they redid Texas Chainsaw, they redid Friday the 13th. I thought the Elm Street one was the worst one.
Really?
Yeah, and for me, Freddy 1 and Freddy 3. Dream Warriors, with docking and all that.
I remember. I still have a pair of 3D glasses sitting in a bin at home from whatever movie they did that was in 3D.
Was that like
it was the one where he had a
6?
kid or something like that. 6. Dream Warrior?
No, Dream Warrior was 3.
Freddy's dead, I think.
Freddy's dead, yeah.
Something
he gets the new glove in that one too, doesn't he?
No, he has a new glove in New Nightmare.
Oh, is that
the movie?
He has the trench coat, and it's like sort of Wes Craven's in it, and Heather Langenkamp's in it.
Do I dare ask about Freddy vs. Jason?
I like that's pretty good. I mean, it's not
I thought it was
could
too.
be,
But everything I like, he seems to hate. So I'm just treading lightly here.
Just the remake. No, Freddy vs. Jason's fun for what it is. It could have been better, but it was still enjoyable.
Were you one of those guys that felt Ash needed to be in it too?
No, I don't feel that way.
Okay, because I remember that was a big thing when that movie was coming around. It's like you need to have Bruce Campbell in it.
All those years you wait for it. How could it really live up to all that anticipation? But
I know
both characters looked really cool, and it was fun. I just didn't need like Destiny's Child in it, and stuff that was going on.
All that ridiculous.
And then, like the poor man's Jay and Silent Bob. Like Jay and Silent Bob are bad enough for me. I don't need a rip-off of Jay and Silent Bob in the movie.
Well, you got to check out these NECA figures in any toy store. Now, these could be for kids, but look, let's be honest. If you're in your 30s or 40s, this is stuff the adults are going to want. So, it sounds weird to say this. Man up and ask for toys for Christmas.
Of course.
And one of these things that definitely is this 8-bit 1989 style Batman. The blue and purple is really amazing. We mentioned the Predator. We mentioned I got to go and get the mask. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have bought it because I wanted to have it in our studio and I didn't. But I'm going to go get the Jason mask because it looks really cool. It's the detail of like when they pull it out of. I think the first time he died, where they pull it out of the water and stuff like that, and it's got like the seaweed and the mildew on it. Looks really cool. What else do you got for this season that people should go out and get?
Well, if you don't mind talking about Batman a little bit more, we got something really special, and it's actually timely because this comes out this week, this Tuesday. Because of licensing restrictions, we normally cannot touch Marvel or DC characters in our normal 6 or 7 inch scale. It's all Mattel and Hasbro. They pay like $1 bazillion to be master toy holders and all this. That video game figure was sort of a way around that because it's not in toy packaging and it's in crazy colors, and they gave us a special like pass. Hey, you can do this. While I had that in development, I found out they were doing a 25th anniversary Blu-ray of the Keaton Batman because, believe it or not, it's 25 years old. This June. So the Blu-ray comes out this Tuesday, the 9th, and I approached Home Video and said, what if we did a Michael Keaton Batman and made it just for you guys? It's a bundle. You sell it with the DVD because we can't retail it. We're not allowed to. That's
so
all
Mattel. You can get the rights to manufacture it, but you can't get the rights to sell it.
Correct. We cannot sell it. We cannot retail it, and we are not. We are now selling it. In essence, we're manufactured for hire. We sell it to Warner Home Video, and then they put together bundles with key retailers that say, "Hey, if you buy the anniversary Blu-ray, you get this figure for free." So we were able to make a Michael Keaton Batman in the right colors and actually in the same type of packaging that Toy Biz used back in 1989 when the first toy line came out, and that comes out this week through at Toys R Us this Tuesday, and they have a partnership online, I think, with Warner Brothers, has like an official eBay store where they sell this bundle as well. So it's basically you buy the movie.
So it comes out Tuesday.
Yeah, this Tuesday.
So it's pretty much competing with what's Guardians has come out on Tuesday, right?
Correct.
So yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are going to buy the DVD or the Blu-ray, I should say, for the figure because it's the only way you can get it. So if you're a toy fan and a Batman fan,
that's a great figure.
Look, if you can buy both, but if you're torn between what you can buy on Tuesday, get the new this new Batman bundle.
Man,
can I see that figure a second?
It's great, Eric. It's a great figure.
Just slide it down there. Oh, it's the nice black and yellow. This is amazing work. Yep. You listeners are not getting this one. This one's staying here.
That one's staying there.
But the other one I might give away here. But this is a great deal. So are you looking now more into this? Is this going to be sort of a new trend where you're making figures to sell back to their parent companies and including releases since you can't do the product line?
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's a great promotional tool. What we're hoping we can do is prove to the retailer as well as to Warner Brothers, like you can sell more DVDs than you would have before because of this. Because I mean, look at Batman; they're putting it out in the anniversary edition, but there's no new content in it,
right?
And there's not even a new commentary track or anything. It's just basically the movie again. But if we can drive those sales, if they see like a huge difference in the markets that have it with the figure are selling exponentially more than anyone who doesn't have the figure,
right?
It proves that there's some real viability into it, and hopefully opens more doors because. Obviously, like I said, Mattel pays a fortune to be Master Toy, and they're selling to kids. And we don't want to sell to kids in the first place, but at least levels the playing field a little bit. And if we can do promotions like this where the figure comes with a video game or it comes with a movie and it lets us make whatever, it's Keaton or Ledger as the Joker or DeVito as the Penguin or whatever it is, in a normal, like our traditional figure size format, 6-7 inches tall, it's a win-win because they're going to sell more games or movies because of it. And, we're going to get our toys out there and make people more aware of what's there and get to do something cool. I did this because I wanted a Keaton I
was going to say, collectors are going to get a great figure. So
we make a Keaton already, but it's 18 inches tall. It's quarter scale. It's something we're allowed to do.
You want something that you can have on your desk.
Yeah, I want my Batman to fight my Predator or my Alien or whatever geeky stuff I want to do. And I can do that with other people's Batman toys, but not my own, but now I can.
What was that fan film? It was Batman
Dead End.
Dead End, yeah. Nice.
What else do you have coming out for the winter? Maybe
we have an amazing Alien Queen from Cameron's '86 movie. The thing is massive. It's about 18 inches tall. 30 some odd
How's it
points
posed?
of articulation.
Is the other mouth coming out of it, or
you can take the mouth in? It actually has 2 interchangeable inner tongues.
Nice.
The head slides up over face. It's got the little arms are posable, legs, tail, everything comes with a little display stand. That's just hitting retail right now. We got more Pacific Rim, which a year and a half later is still going strong.
Still going strong.
And now with 2, I know we talked about this last time, but now with 2 in the works, are you scheduled to do stuff with 2? Or?
I sure hope so. I mean, the conversations I've had with Guillermo were really encouraging. Like, he loves what we've done. We have a really impressive line at this point. Like I said, it's a year and a half later, and we're still supporting it. We have product coming out for Christmas, and we have more stuff next spring. So I think it will lead right up to the sequel.
So you guys have a lot of stuff in the works right now. Not so much, I mean, besides the Batman stuff here and the 8-bit figures, not so much, I guess, for holidays, but come next summer, you guys are just going to be, blowing everybody's minds with the stuff that you're releasing. The 1985 Godzilla line is I've seen pieces out there. Amazing looking.
Thank you.
So you're doing that in contrast to the Godzilla movie that was out, or in association riding
with
that wave?
Yeah, we did. The first one we did was the 14, the new one. And then we've been going backwards. So we did 2014, we did 94, we did 85, we have 54 coming early next year. We showed it at New York Comic Con. We're doing the Burning one, which is from 95. That will be out right at the end of the year, beginning of January. We're working on a few other things right now, but kind of going backwards. It's all Godzilla. We're not doing any of the other monsters or creatures. Our rights are pretty limited with Toho and what we can and can't do.
Right,
we can do basically Godzilla through the ages, and there's like 60 years of Godzilla to mine from.
So
which
no
is great.
like Mothra or Mega Godzilla or something?
Not yet. I mean, I hope the doors open up, but Toho's the rights holder, and they have a lot of other partners doing stuff, so we were pretty narrowly defined into just Godzilla. But I mean, he's king of the monsters, so if you're only going to do one...
Yeah, that's the one to do.
Big, yeah.
And he looks different in all the incarnations, so it's cool to do.
Anything that maybe you can hint at that's really exciting for next year?
Let's see. Well, we've been talking to Quentin Tarantino, who we've done a lot of work with in the past.
Yes, if you're familiar with their Django product, got a lot of press.
Older than that, we did Kill Bill with him. We did a couple things from Pulp Fiction with him as well. And Grindhouse we did with him and Robert Rodriguez. But he has a really, what looks like kick-ass Western filming right now. Hateful Eight, yeah. It comes out next November, and we're in discussions with that right now. It's an amazing cast, and I'm a huge fan of almost every single thing he's done. So
I'm glad he moved forward with that, because for a while when that script leaked and he was furious, I thought he might abandon the project altogether, and I'm glad that he kind of rallied it and did whatever he had to do.
If anyone's seen that picture that Sam Jackson tweeted of the cast sort of sitting around doing like a table read or something, and you see like Kurt Russell and Tim Roth,
all his usual guys that are in all his movies.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, that should be pretty awesome. I can't wait for that.
We're running out of time here, so I want to get to one last question for the NECA guys here. Can you talk about Kid Robot?
A little bit. I mean, it's not going to directly involve us so much in our Jersey headquarters.
Right.
The owner of the company has been acquiring a lot of different businesses. We bought WizKids, who did like the HeroClix miniature gaming thing a few years back. So we kind of have let these other companies or divisions that we acquire still operate sort of independently. Kid Robot, I think, was getting to a point where they couldn't get any bigger doing what they were doing, and they were trying to either, I don't know, go public or get other investors, and they weren't letting the creative people run the company anymore.
Right.
So we want to put like the creative people back in control.
Great, because they wound up closing all their stores. Even the big one that was in Denver with their corporate office was supposed to be the only one, and they even closed that one now down too.
I was going to say, I think, aside from the fact that NECA's on board with them now, I think putting Frank Kozik
as a creative director,
I think that was a great choice. I mean, Frank's a guy who's been around for years and years and years, and he's a bit of a
Chris and I, we all answer to someone, and so Frank. There's one owner of our whole company, privately held company, but the great thing about him is he knows that we're good at what we do and lets us run our end of the business. So when it comes to action figures, that's all me. When it comes to the vinyl and the designer stuff, that'll all be Frank.
That's cool.
And it's the same way with the HeroClix guys and WizKids. Like, it's everyone's sort of doing their own thing. As long as we're making money and hitting our deadlines, we're left to our own devices.
Will some of the licensing, do you know, like will it be shared? Like, will Kid Robot have access to some of the stuff that
we're hoping
that you do, and vice versa?
Yeah, we're hoping there could be some more synergy there, because we certainly have a huge roster.
I was going to say, you have a huge roster of things.
Yeah, we have a lot to play with, and as you know, with Chris's line, the Scalers line, there's infinite possibilities, in what he's doing. We can hopefully cross some of that over to Kid Robot. So it's a little early to say now. Maybe by Toy Fair in February, which will be that'll be the first time Kid Robot is showing as part of NECA. So like that might be some place where we might be able to make some announcements, but it definitely, seems like there'll definitely be synergy and shared licenses. And
I'm a big fan of the Kid Robot line as a collector, not so much as, I have a couple on my desk. The Simpsons line, Futurama line. I think I got everything except the one that you need, and it's $600 on eBay for no reason, so I'm not buying Hans Moleman, sorry. But I'd love to see what you guys can cross with this, especially if you got like the South Park line, if you're allowed to touch that. Be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
NECAonline.com is the website. Neca Toys on Twitter for Randy and Chris Ramo Art. You want to spell it out for everybody?
Yeah, at Chris Ramo Art. Raimo is my last name.
And congratulations. You had an announcement today that you're having kids.
I'm having 2 kids at one time. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're going to have to,
That's my superpower.
Hop a lot of stuff from the warehouse at work there for your kids, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got there to plug?
Aside from here, you can find me over at Big Kev's Geek Stuff each week. Geek Stuff OG on Instagram and Twitter, and I think that's it.
And I'm E-Rock Radio on Twitter and Instagram. Next week on the show, the Masters of None are returning.
Nice.
Long friends of mine. They've been doing a podcast for many years. You should check them out.
Last time they were here, Neca
mastersofnone.com.
was here.
That's right.
Right.
We were with
and
them.
they'll be here next week for their winter and holiday craft beer selections. They're bringing that in. So I was like, sure, I'm not going to tell you no. And we may have a special guest. I'm waiting on confirmation.
I was going to say, yeah.
This person said they're going to be here, but we'll see if that actually happens. So next week's show will be really good. And also, if you saw South Park this week, they did an episode about this new trend to old people, but to young people, it's been around for a while, where they're watching video games, but people do videos where they comment watching video games. And there's a guy in Sweden who has 32.6 million subscribers on YouTube, and his name is PewDiePie. So I reached out to him, and he may be on the show next week, and we'll talk to him. We didn't get a chance to sample it, but you should check out his video about, it's called Far Cry 4 is Violent. So he did a whole video just commenting on everything that goes on in Far Cry 4.
It's a bit ridiculous, and I would say it's not suitable for minors.
Right. And also follow my Twitter, because we didn't give out the Mystery Science Theater 3000 box set, so we'll do that on Twitter, and some of the great stuff that Neca brought in here for
Absolutely.
us. So next week, we will see you then. Goodbye.
Stuck. And that's all the time we have. Follow the guys on Twitter and Instagram at eRock Radio and at Geek Stuff OG. eRock Radio and at Geek Stuff OG. The show should be back next week, right here on Opioid